welcome to another Narc Survivor live video. In this one, I'm going to be talking about how narcissists are creepy. Because let's keep it real, they are super creepy, super weird. Initially, they stalk you, maybe on social media or in person, to try and find out things about you. They're studying you, they're trying to find out what you like, what you're interested in, so that they can then try to become that and then reflect it back to you, to act like they're on the same page, to act like they're into what you're into. And this is what is known as the grooming phase. And it's really no different, as psychologist Ross Rosenberg has mentioned, to a paedophile targeting a child. It's exactly the same thing, the way they try to mirror your likes and interests, while actually they have an ulterior motive, a hidden agenda of where they are seeking to ruthlessly exploit you. And they're exploiting you for your values, your morality. They are seeking to corrupt and deprave you, to immoralize you, to try and make you just as wicked and corrupt as they are. They string you along in this shared fantasy. And actually, if you think about it, if you really look back, you never desired to be a part of that to begin with. You were on to something else. You were going in a different direction. But then they pulled you off your path. They led you astray. And then they get you going off into this other direction with them, with their lies and future faking. But actually, if you think back, it was never something you wanted to be a part of anyway. And that's the crazy thing about it, is the way that they manipulate you. They brainwash you. And they leave you chasing after something with them. As an example, at some point in the relationship, or maybe it wasn't even a relationship, but you were begging them for a committed relationship, or for a marriage, or for children with them. But if you think back at the beginning, you might not have ever wanted that with them anyway. Maybe you were enjoying your single life. You were happy being independent and free. Maybe you didn't want to settle down or have a family. But then they came around and they manipulated you. They fed this dream to you. And they made you believe that they were about that. And now suddenly you're chasing after that from them. You're longing and yearning for something that you never even wanted to begin with. You were quite happy on your own. But that's what they have to do. They have to feed this to you and make you desire something from them, because that's the frequency that they're on. They're desiring something from you. They're desiring your authenticity, your values, your morality. They want to destroy all of that. They want to take all of that away from you, because it just makes them feel like the dirty, creepy person that they actually are. And that's why they want to get around you, and they want to corrupt and deprave you. And they are really creepy. They quite literally creep around. They watch you, they stalk you. I remember I joked about it in a past video. I said, it was just an example really, but I said that the narcissist could be creeping in the bushes outside your house. And then someone actually commented in the live chat saying that that actually happened to them. Well, they did catch the narcissist in the bushes. And even though they're creepy, when they're creeping, now this is a very important point to make note of, when they're creeping on you, when they're stalking you, when they're watching you, They're disconnected from themselves. And I know they're disconnected from themselves anyway, but then they're even more disconnected. They're even less aware of themselves because they're more focused on you. They're focused on what they want from you. And that's why even if the narcissist is outside your house and they're in the bushes watching you, you could point out that they're watching you and threaten to expose them. But then they'll turn around and they'll call the police on you. And somehow they will manage to twist everything around and say that you were spying on them, even though they were in the bushes outside your house with a pair of binoculars, looking through your window, watching you coming out the shower. They will still find a way to twist it around because they're disconnected from themselves. They lack self-awareness. So they can go out and do all of these things to you, but then all of that just gets brushed aside. Doesn't matter what they've been doing to you for months or years, it doesn't matter to them. They will focus on your reaction to it. No matter how long it takes to push and provoke you and to get you to snap, they will focus on your reaction because they lack self-awareness. And actually, they don't even have a self to be aware of. And that's something to be aware of as well for you. When you are longing and yearning for something that you never actually wanted from them anyway, and maybe you just felt bad for them, and that's why you wanted to give them a chance, because you could see that they were in an undesirable situation. But something to take note of is that they lack self-awareness. They don't really have a sense of self anyway. So the relationship, the marriage, the children, the future, whatever it is that they've kept you chasing after, that can never become a reality anyway. That's only ever going to be a fantasy inside your mind, a shared fantasy with you and them. It can't ever be a reality. Hypothetically speaking, even if it came down to it, even if this actually happened in real life, and it's not just their lies and future baking, let's imagine the hypothetical situation where you're getting married and you have a future, a family together. You're still just under brainwashing. You're still just imagining it inside your mind. It's not real. It's not a real relationship. It's not a real marriage. It's not a real family with a narcissist. It's still just a shared fantasy. And there will always be a shared fantasy, whether it appears to be happening right in front of your eyes or not. And many of you who have already woken up to this, you will know that it is true, as I have seen in my own experiences. Because I've had relationships with narcissists, and if you want to trick your brain into thinking that it's real, that it might seem more real to you. But life, your experiences, they will feel far more real if you're on your own. Actually, a relationship with a narcissist, it is far more lonely than being alone. It really is. And the reason for that is because in order for you to be around a narcissist, you have to deny yourself. You have to just pretend like you don't exist. You can't be aware of yourself and be around the narcissist. You have to forget about all of that. And you have to focus all of your attention on them, on their false self. And that's how, even when you're around them, when you're in a relationship with them, you just feel so alone. You just feel like you're not even there, like you don't even exist. And it's because you can't really exist around a narcissist. You do not exist in their world. You don't exist to them at all. Just like they have a fantasy character, they create a fantasy character for you as well. And that's why they're always pushing and provoking you, tempting and enticing you. There's a reason for all of that. Is to try and mold you into the person that they want you to be, into the person that they view you as, and who they viewed you as right at the beginning. They already thought that you could be a certain way for them in order to validate the false character. So that's what they're trying to mold you into. That's who they want you to be. Now that's why as long as you're around a narcissist, it's only ever going to be fake. It's never going to be real. But yeah, narcissists, they are super creepy. It's just that they lack self-awareness. They don't have a sense of self, so they don't even realize half the time what they're doing. But honestly, some of the things that I've seen from a narcissist, it gives me goosebumps. It makes me shiver. It makes me feel dirty, like I gotta go and have a shower. Because the things that they do, it's just so creepy, so weird. It's just not normal at all. And once you catch on, you know they've got all of these creepy fantasies about you in their minds. And it's not even a case where they just come out and tell you exactly how things are, exactly how they want things to be, how they want you to be for them. I mean, that's completely different. As you all know, as I've spoken about in past live videos, I'm not really a fan of this whole BDSM thing, the 50 Shades of Grey. That's not something I'm into. But I know that there's people out there, that's what they like. They're into that kind of thing. And if there is an agreement there, if it's something where you both speak about it, you reveal what you're into, and you're given your agreement, you're given consent, then maybe then it's okay. To some extent. I mean, if a person is being harmed, severely harmed, then regardless of whether you give consent to it or not, in my opinion at least, that is not acceptable. That's how I see it. But when you're dealing with narcissists, they put you in a position where you can't even give consent. You can't even agree to anything, because in order for you to be around them, you cannot be aware of yourself. So essentially, you're under a spell, you're in a trance. You may not see that because you're not aware of it. They've put you into a lower state of consciousness. But other people around you, your friends or family, they may even say that you're acting very strange. You're doing things that you would not normally do. You're behaving in a very strange way. And that's because you're around them, because they've manipulated you, they've brainwashed you, they've put you under a spell. They become like this master puppeteer and you're the puppet. So they're pulling the strings on you. And that's really what they want. I mean, they want a powerful, successful, attractive person, but with everything on their terms and under their conditions, where they are in a position of power over that person. Which is completely crazy, because they don't even deserve that type of person for a start, let alone for that person to be under their spell. And this is why, of course, as we know, any relationship with a narcissist, it always falls apart. There is no relationship with a narcissist that has ever resulted in success. And quite simply because they should not have power over anyone. If you want to know what type of person should have any level of power over anyone, because there are situations, it does exist, the type of person is going to be someone who is in control of their own life. Someone who has their own emotions in check. Someone who is successful to some degree. Someone who is accomplished. someone who knows how to make stuff happen, someone who has achieved things. As an example, like a teacher or a mentor, those types of people who may have achieved things already, they are then meant to be in a position of power, where they're then able to teach, they're able to lead. Narcissists have not accomplished anything. That's why they have a false character. They manipulate. They abandoned their true self a long time ago. So they should never be leading anyone. And this is why all of you who have been involved with narcissists, where have they led you? Off a cliff. They are the worst leaders. They should never be in charge. They should never have any power over you at all, because they will only end up destroying you. They'll only end up ruining your life. And that's just another reason why they seem so creepy. I mean, for one thing, they've got these hidden agendas, these ulterior motives. They don't just come out and tell you who they are and what they're trying to do with you. They don't reveal that to you. And not only that, but just their demeanor, their behavior, it's so creepy. It's not attractive at all. This is why they manipulate you, or they coerce you, or they play the victim. Because at some level they know they're not attractive. They know that they're creepy. And as well as that, their behavior is also harmful to you. And they're secretly withholding that information from you about their secret to harm and exploit you. It's just all of the things that they do. It's so creepy. It's so weird. It's not normal at all. It's not typical, usual, or expected. It leads you in a very different direction. They make you think that it's going in a certain way, and then they pull it in a different direction to where they can then achieve power and control over you. And this is especially true with psychopaths. Now, overt narcissists or psychopaths, yes, on the surface, they may seem quite charming and charismatic. But if you pay close attention to them, something does seem off. It's like AI. Something just doesn't seem right about them. And it won't seem right about them because they're not real people. They've done a lot of studying on people to learn how they're supposed to be, how they're supposed to act, what they're supposed to do, how they're meant to interact with you. They've done a lot of studying to then be able to manipulate you, to lure you in. But that's not who they actually are. That's not the real them. The real them died a long time ago. And then they chose to become a master manipulator. They chose to trick and deceive people. And that's why when you're around a narcissist, if they haven't been successful in manipulating you, if they haven't managed to put you under a spell, something will just feel off. It won't feel right at all. It won't feel good. It will make you sick. It will make you just want to run from the hills, for the hills, rather. It'll just make you want to get away. Because you know that it's not right. You know that it's not good. You feel like you're in the presence of a predator. Someone who is preying on you. Someone who is seeking to ruthlessly exploit you for their own personal gain. And without any mercy, without any remorse. Because that's just exactly what they do. It's all about them. When you're around a narcissist, it is all about them. It's all about their needs. It's all about what they can get from you. And that's exactly what they're thinking when they're watching you, when they're observing you, when they're stalking their prey. The only thing that's going on in their minds is, how can I get what I want from this person? How can I exploit them without letting them catch on to who I actually am, is what they're thinking. There's nothing there about a connection. There's nothing there about a shared interest or a shared objective, a shared goal. It's not about building anything together. It's just all about them. How they're going to rob you of your innocence, your values and morals, how they're going to strip you of all of that. Because that is their goal. That's the whole point of it all, is that they want to destroy your innocence. Of course, that's all that they can do once they get around you, because they're completely corrupt, immoral and depraved, and of course they're going to do that to you. And it's a horrible thing to go through. It's a horrible experience. When one of these types of people gets into your life and they demoralize you, they corrupt you, and then in order for you just to cope, suddenly you're smoking cigarettes, you're drinking alcohol, using drugs, you may even become suicidal, anxious and depressed, because they've corrupted you, robbed you of your innocence. And for many people, once that has happened, they can't get it back. Of course, those of us who are empaths, it never actually goes away. There's nothing that they can do to rob that from you. But that won't stop them from trying. And you have to be very careful around these types of people, because they're not self-aware, they have no sense of self. It's just a predator who's seeking to ruthlessly exploit you. So they don't even see themselves, they don't even see how crazy and disturbing their behavior is. They're not feeling any shame because they're deflecting it onto you. And that's why when they do these types of things, they humiliate you. They disrespect you, they degrade you. Because in their minds, you're the fool, you're the laughing stock. Because they're able to do these things to you. But actually, no, it's the other way around. They're just deflecting it onto you. They are not even the laughing stock. It's not even something to be laughing about. They're disgusting. They really are. They're dirty, they're foul. And they may never see that, they may never want to accept it.